Oh, that needs to be silent. It says we're live. My phone just told me
we're live. All right, guys. To all of you midnight tokers, afternoon inhalers, and AM hookah smokers, this is the AM Hookah Podcast with myself, Matt, my wonderful co-host, Adrian. Adrian, how are you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, man. Just the usual.
Awesome. And then for our very first special guest, a very good, I would like to say a friend of mine from the world of the internet thus far, but my very good friend, Owen Barry. How are you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Hey,
we're off work and chilling out.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you here. We've been wanting to do a guest for a long time. At least I have, just because I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And you were one of the very first people that I thought of to do a guest with, because me and you have had some really cool conversations about hookah stuff for a long time. So I really was hoping to get you on the show as soon as possible. So I'm really happy to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Now, have you had you've listened to a couple of shows? You kind of have an idea of what it is that we do. We're going to change our format up just a tiny bit, just a teeny tiny bit. Obviously, if there's anybody watching live, which I don't think we have any people live yet. We're not supposed to start technically for about 15 minutes, but we're just going to jump through the show. It's a audio podcast as well, obviously. But instead of talking about some other random stuff, first I want to know. I would like the world of the, We're just going to jump to the show. Oh, I heard myself. I'd like you to give yourself a little bit of introduction. Where can people find you? Who are you? How long have you been smoking hookah for, Owen?
I've been smoking hookah for almost 10 years now. Started in lounges. I've got the channel on YouTube, Nemo Smokes 24. Thing is, Nemo Smokes was taken as a channel, but not an email. So my email and my YouTube username are different. It took me years to be able to my parents' house and be able to go somewhere other than a lounge, and that's when I really started learning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So me and you both been smoking for about 10 years. That's kind of nice to. This kid over here, he's a baby boomer when it comes to smoking.
Yeah, I've been at it for I've been at the good stuff, not smoking fake hams and lounges in Dearborn for like a year and a half max.
But I think, Owen, you'd agree with me. People that are getting started smoking today are so lucky with the quality of stuff that's on the market in comparison to when me and you first started smoking. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. I had non-washable Egyptian hoses at the lounge with wood coals and Fantasia tobacco. The first good thing I ever tried was Alfacher.
It was all about that blue mist, baby. All about that blue mist.
Oh, God. I didn't try blue mist until long after the hype and long after it went the route of plastic.
Oh, man, it got so gnarly, too, is the worst part. There was a time, I know it's funny now because it is kind of a joke about Star Buzz and all that kind of stuff, but like Blue Mist at one time was legit good. Like it was something that was different at the time. Nowadays, not so different. We do have a couple viewers, so if anybody is watching, are you monitoring the comments, Adrian?
I sure am. I'm using my mobile device to monitor comments. Nothing at the moment. Part of the viewers might be myself monitoring, so keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, we got two other people, and I'm not monitoring. So somebody's watching. I see you. I don't. I see you. I don't. Okay. So let's go ahead. So we're going to jump into just a couple of simple questions for you, Owen, just to kind of kick things off, just because I think it'd be fun. First question is going to be traditional or modern hookahs. Where do you stand? Not on them, I hope.
I've got but I kind of, or if not traditional, if it is something modern, it's still old. It's an old find or a rare find.
You have one of the most
as far as
attractive
houses,
collections of hookahs that I've seen. You always seem to be pulling out something that you're doing for a restoration job or something of the sort. I love following the stuff that you do because you make those old beauties really start to shine.
Yeah, it's really cool to me to find old pieces that were neglected and show them some love.
What about hoses? Where do you stand? I see what you're using right now. You're using the brand new spanking modern timber hose. So where do you stand on hoses, modern or traditional for hookah hoses?
I wish there were better options for Egyptian hoses, but they're also restricted. And then when they finally make one that's not restricted, so I like a good moderate draw. So it's pretty much modern for me.
Understandable. Those timber hoses look so nice. How? I mean, I've seen a couple of reviews. DMZ just dropped their review of it. Obviously, I saw Rob's review of it and everything. Where do you stand so far on it? Is it the hose of your dream?
The draw is pretty great, but the thing about this one with the black handle, it's a lot more open than the copper one. Because if you think about it, this acrylic's the same way it's cutting down the. I prefer the restricted. It's not too open. It's not like a D hose or anything.
Once it's stale, I've never tried a D hose. That's one of the few products that I've never got my hands on, sadly. Adrian, now we'll do a round robin real quick, and we'll talk about what it is that we're all smoking. What are you smoking on, Adrian?
Oh, right now I've got the this is the new hookah to me. This is the Initiate by Alchemist, which is a pretty sweet pipe. I've been smoking on this for like a week. I'm starting to formulate some thoughts on it. I've got the Thunder Dark V2 hose going with the, like I said earlier, the Goodfella V4 up top. I've actually got some, I'm revisiting Alchemist Blonde line because I was so impressed with the KFC line. So I've got some Nectar of the Gods in there. I'm going to hold my opinion for now. I'm going to test it out a little bit because they seem to have improved their cut. And Provost with 2 cubes inside. They're titaniums today.
Very nice. Owen, what are you smoking besides that beautiful hose?
I've got my one with the alfalfa base, and actually loaded with some orange Sevilla coffee and cane mate. Got Earth sitting in the Provost.
Very, very nice. I'm rocking the Carbon 1 stem with a KM vase using the Thunder Slim Gold hose. And then I'm doing some Blonde Leaf as well. I'm doing some Trifecta P3. I needed to, I was running around before we got started on the show. So like, I was like trying to figure out like, what should I quickly load into a bowl and smoke real fast? And I was like, I got to do P3. It's just such a good flavor. Loaded up in the Bambino, put 2 titaniums in my Provost and just smoking on that. But I would love to hear your thoughts about Blonde and Dark Leaf. My cell phone's going off that I left in the other room. So I'm going to let you take over and tell us what your thoughts are about Blonde and Dark Leaf. And I will be right back. Which one you prefer and what you like or dislike about either one. But I'll be right back.
As far as in general, not just Trifecta, but Trifecta's Blonde got a decent weight to it. A lot of the Blonde Leafs I don't really gravitate towards just because like so many Blonde Leafs are so light and airy. I usually smoke a mix of Blonde and dark in almost every bowl. It's very rare that I'll go for straight dark, but I do like to have some kind of weight to my smoke. Azure tobacco lately. The Blonde line is really good. It's really spot on, but I think the dark needs some work, honestly.
Oh, I've actually more about that.
Yeah, I've seen some reviews on that new Azure line. It's not even available to buy in America yet. Is that correct?
I believe that they said it should be available to quote me on that. I'd have to look.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I haven't had the option to actually try any of that Azure stuff yet, but I saw Zach from over at Strictly Shisha and Christian from Hookah Chef. They both did reviews, and I was pretty happy with what they had to say. So I'm definitely going to pick some up as soon as I can.
Yeah, I've got a message here from them. I can tell you. I don't even remember how to look at the messages, if I'm being honest.
It'll be fine.
It's harder to find.
We'll be fine without it. Moving over to what's your favorite charcoal to use? I know you like those kickflip 360 at one time. I don't know if you ever stopped using those ones. I don't know.
those dragon coals, yeah, those are pretty stellar. But yeah, right now I'm on the Cocoa Arts until maybe that'll take the spot when they come out. We'll see.
I've always heard good things about those cocoa earths. I've always wanted to try those. Superior cocoa, I seem to be getting a lot of attention, at least in the online area right now. You know, a couple people tried them, seems to have some pretty positive things to say about it. So hopefully they turn out to be pretty good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I've got some on the way, actually. I'm looking forward to trying them. I've heard some good things from some people that I haven't really heard anything from at all, so I'm not sure how to weigh those opinions. But I'm definitely interested to try them out because I've been talking to the guy who's actually responsible for producing the coals, and he says it's all done in-house. Apparently, they're all done on American soil. So that's what I've heard. I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, but I've got high hopes for the brand.
Coconuts don't grow in America. That's not. I don't think we have coconuts here.
So yeah, they probably would import them then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Well, they have the husks in here and work on
Yeah.
it here. Yeah. But it's about 3 weeks out here soon.
Very nice. And then what is, if you were to be on, sorry, if you were to be stuck on a desert island, Owen, what would be your top like 3 tobaccos that you would want to have with you at all times?
Need some Nockla double apple. Let's get probably some Tangiers bug powder and some Trifecta Enigma.
Those are some good flavors right there. I think you won me and Adrian's heart over with that. What do you say, Adrian?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually surprised you didn't say cane mint. I was expecting you to just come right off the bat with cane mint. But yeah, I can get behind that.
Cane is like one of those things where I'll smoke it nonstop for a while and then I'll kind of burn myself out for a minute.
Yeah,
it's very possible to do that with cane mint because even though it is such a good tasting mint, there are, I don't want to say bad batches of it, but there are like I don't know, it almost feels like you can get the certain taste of cane mint and eventually, like it happened with me with passion fruit. I love passion fruit as a flavor from Tangiers, but if I smoke too much of it, it will make me almost nauseous just to smell it at some points. It's a great flavor. I won't take anything away from it, but if I do too much of it, I can't handle it for a very long time at least. So I can see that being a case for cane mint as well. Let's go ahead and jump over to what we've been smoking. Adrian, have you been smoking anything new or interesting or something you'd like to talk about?
Nothing I really want to talk about just yet. I've been, like I said, I've been revisiting the Alchemist Blonde line. I had been pretty underwhelmed by it when I tried it earlier on, given that was when they were kind of having these really bad batches. They were super, almost syrupy, like they were super wet, which is obviously causing problems. And they obviously sell their stuff in 350s, and you're paying for the stuff by weight. So I was really ticked off that you're buying like half just molasses and the other half's tobacco. So I'm smoking a lot of Alchemist Blonde because they have changed things up just a little bit. I've been pretty impressed. And then beyond that, I've just been smoking a crap load of the P3. I'm trying to get through all of it because I'm not exactly too keen on the super sweet flavors, but the P3 is pretty good. I just want to get through it so I can smoke some.
It's a good mixer. You ought to throw that in with maybe some Alchemist or something. See if you can't find a fun mix to do or something.
Yeah, I just throw some. I'll put cane mint in there with it. It tastes just fine. Twice the ice or twice the ASX. That's a really good way to mix it as well.
And then what about you, Owen? I know you've been smoking that Azu. What is it called again?
Azer.
Azer.
I've been smoking a lot of that. The dark leaf didn't necessarily impress me, but pretty good. I haven't had a disappointing flavor from the blonde line. It's hard pressed to find a comparison, but it probably smokes somewhere between Alfacher and Trifecta Blonde. It's mostly just beers and Trifecta Dark, and whenever I get a kilo of that in, it flies by. It's in every mix.
What kind of flavors have you been smoking from, and what have you tried?
I had Natural Order. That went by pretty fast. I was mixing it with some jackfruit. I had that almost every day till they were both gone. Moose did say he was going to tone down the sage in that. I think that would be a good idea because the sage is just powerful in that. I think it could really afford to be toned down. You can't hardly get the fruit sometimes.
From the Azure? Was
Trifecta.
Trifecta? What
You had
flavors?
that one?
I have not actually ever had the Trifecta natural order. I've always wanted to try it because I really like the Enigma a lot, and I know that's kind of an herby type flavor as well. Now, what about the Azure? What flavors have you tried from them? What actual flavors?
Lemongrass was pretty good. Moss was kind of like a fruity mix, but it was pretty tasty. I have some P3 on the way. I imagine those two.
Uh-oh, you're breaking up a little bit, Owen. I don't know what's going on. You're cutting out on us. Are you getting that cut out too, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm experiencing some cutting out. I didn't want to say anything because I know you're hosting, right, Matt? You're actually the one hosting this live.
Yeah.
So I know there can be some issues. Like I might see issues where you won't, but I am noticing some cutting out.
I wonder what that could be caused by.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, hopefully it cuts out, or not cuts out, stops cutting out a little bit as we keep going. So
I fucking love technical difficulties. They're the best.
I know they're always there. They're what makes our show special and different than everybody else's. We have lots of them.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and move on to some new reviews that we'd like to highlight a little bit. Obviously, I just got the review out for the Goodfella V4 on my channel. Go and check that out at Matt Dezen on YouTube. And then also I had the review after we had posted the last episode of Indian Cure. I love that stuff. I'm totally digging it. Go and check out those two reviews. Both of those products I was a big fan of. I think that the Goodfella V4 is really good for fluff packing and for semi-dense packs. I would not personally use it for dense packing because I would never smoke this whole thing if I was to dense pack Tangiers in it or anything like that. But the Indian Cure, I would smoke that forever and ever if I could. I will maximize the amount of smokage that I get out of that bowl every single time. But that's about it for me. I know, Adrian, you had another alfalfa review drop during the time, and also a very good informative review or tech or tutorial of how to foil a bowl as well. Anything else?
Yeah, those are the two newest reviews. The alfalfa series, I just did the grapefruit. Next up is going to be fresh. That's a week from today. That's next Monday. Tonight I should be dropping my P3 review, and then yeah, obviously there was that foil thing, and that was actually for a Facebook thing over at the Hookah Lounge that I decided to just edit a little bit and throw it up on YouTube as well because I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, that's all I've got up right now. Nothing really insane. There was supposed to be the Cloud Micro review dropped, but I wasn't happy with the main cut of it, so I actually just scrapped it, and I'm right in the middle of editing the second version. So that should be up by the end of the week as well.
Cool. Happy to see that. Now, Owen, you haven't posted any new reviews for a little while, obviously, I've noticed, but do you have anything in the works that you may be working on anytime soon?
Yeah, I'll be having some of those Azure reviews coming. Just moved in July, and it's just been so. Now that I have a break from work, I'll definitely be working double time, and then I'll probably just stage them out, for a while.
Yeah, if anybody has never seen any reviews from Owen, go and check him out for sure. Nemo Smokes 24. He has a lot of stuff. The one thing that drew me to your channel originally is that you had a lot of reviews of stuff that I was always looking for to try and find that I couldn't find. You were doing a lot of flavors of stuff on the market at the time that there wasn't a lot of reviews for. So I always really appreciated that. So it's cool when you can find a reviewer that has stuff that's not everybody is smoking or reviewing. So when you want to find that kind of information, it's a little bit easier to find. So I always like that about your reviews a lot.
I always try to look for stuff that doesn't have a bunch of coverage on it. I don't want to do that's why I haven't done the timber. Like everybody was already all over it before it comes out. You already know what it is.
I can get behind that. I actually like that approach. If you start to review the stuff that everyone's doing at the time, you get lost in the mix. And then I think there is a such thing as an overload of information. You don't need like different opinions from 10 dudes. Everyone's saying the same thing about it too. It's the best hose in the market. Like I'm going to get one regardless of what everyone's saying. It just looks gorgeous. So I can get behind that.
Yep, for sure. And the other nice thing about having those kind of products, though, I like, is that in the future you can review it. Me and Adrian had talked about this a while back ago, but hookah products are not necessarily evergreen. Opinions and thoughts and how you use a product or how you smoke on a product, it changes over time. So you are able to review something at a later time and have those either new opinions or thoughts stand just as strong as when the product originally dropped. So I think it's something that if you wanted to, in a couple of months or even a year, honestly, you could do a review for it and it would still bring attention to it, and also attention to yourself, could give your opinions about it if you wanted to, obviously.
Right, and every day there's people like coming of age to smoke hookah. That's why I'm doing that whole Alfakr series, because it's lost attention over the years and it's one of the most accessible brands. So all the reviews up are like 5 years old. It's time for some more, and I think it's really good to like put stuff down for a little bit and come back and revisit it later. So it does tend to stay on the market for at least a little while.
Yep. And Owen, I don't know how you feel about old school AF and their old school flavors. Like Mint used to be the bomb. It used to be absolutely wonderful. And sadly, it's dropped in quality quite a bit in comparison to what it used to be like. But I remember when new flavors first started to hit the market. Do you remember when like Energy first hit the market and stuff, or soft black and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, soft black you can't even get anymore, unfortunately. Get AF pipe. That's a pretty unique, good kind of chocolatey, earthy flavor.
Yeah.
When they knock it out of the park, they really do. But when they do it bad, it's
noticeable.
Yeah, Alfakr fucks up just about as much as they get it right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's 50-50, but it's probably like a 70% success rate if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a cynic. I could agree with that ratio.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fair. I'd agree with that too. So very quickly, before we jump into our topic, I just wanted to touch on this because obviously we have Black Friday right around the corner. We have a bunch of sales that are going to be coming on to different websites and stuff like that. And I was wondering, do you guys do much Black Friday shopping on the hookah internet? Do you guys try to wait for sales to hit, or do you get enticed by really good deals? Are you guys excited for Black Friday this year?
I mean, this year, I don't think so. I spent way too much money on hookah this year, so I got enough to keep me going, and I got a crate of coals already on the way. Probably sit this one out. It has a crazy good sale. Keep an eye out for that one.
What about you? Do you have anything that you're eyeballing, waiting to see if it drops in price?
Well, I'm looking at some Black Friday sales right now. I tend to shop 5-star myself, but I'm pretty much going to look everywhere for the best deals. But yeah, I'm planning to drop of money on a pretty inappropriate amount of shisha tobacco. I definitely want to add some hoses to my collection. There's some stuff I wanted to get. Even if I can't imagine they're going to put the timber on sale, I'm still going to get it. I'm probably just going to get it when I do my haul. But yeah, I can't. It's not even worth getting into what I'm going to get. I'm just going to get a lot of stuff.
I'll definitely
maybe I'll do like a video on the haul.
That'd be a fun video, I'm sure. And it would. I like how you say an inappropriate amount of money that you're considering spending, because I'm gonna have to do whatever I can to try and hide it from my wife that I'm gonna be spending some money on Black Friday. So I'm gonna try and work some overtime so she doesn't notice the money that I spend, because there's definitely some stuff that I want to add. I'm not getting low on tobacco, but I'm getting to the point where I've had everything multiple times, so I'm ready to get something new in the rotation. So I'm definitely going to be eyeballing some sales. I know they have some pre-Black Friday sales up already, but on the day of Black Friday, I usually spend a little bit of money. So I'll be keeping my eyes open, especially for some tobacco. Bowls, I feel pretty comfortable. Hoses, I'm okay on. I'm not worried too much about it, but definitely needing some new things to put in my bowl. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that, at least.
There's no such thing as enough bowls. You need more bowls.
Speaking of bowls,
every bowl.
Speaking of bowls, let's go into it. Let's talk about the topic of the show. Owen, I think it'll be fun to go over your history a little bit when it comes to hookah bowls. I'm assuming you probably started like we all did with the general Egyptian bowl. Do you have an Egyptian bowl on hand, Adrian? I did not grab one for some reason.
Well, I sure do. This is my favorite Egyptian bowl. It's the perfect depth for me. You get that really nice makeshift funnel if you want to put a hole in the middle. It's just the best.
Oh, yes, wonderful. What about you, Adrian, or not Adrian, Owen? Did you start with a traditional Egyptian bowl like the majority of us did?
Yeah, I mean, started at, they all had Egyptian bowls. The ones that I had at home were the typical Chinese mod, kind of falls apart.
Garbage.
The first alien.
So we'll jump over to that. One of my favorite bowls, and sadly I've kind of retired it more than anything because as you can see, it's starting to get kind of decayed and crack and everything. But this is one of the Gen 1 aliens. This is one of the best aliens that you could possibly get by far. When the depth was still good, it's obviously, they're handmade and everything, so it's kind of off on this, so you have to be careful when you're putting the foil on it. But I love this alien bowl. Nice wide spire in the middle. It holds just the perfect amount of tobacco, especially for something like Tangiers and stuff. This is not one of my first funnel bowls that I ever had. I had one of the crappy Chinese ceramic funnel bowls back in the day, but this definitely took my heart when I first got it, and I absolutely loved using it. What are some of your favorite bowls that you have, Adrian?
Well, I will say, like, you said you started with Egyptian bowls. I'm in the same class of, I actually started, I didn't know what I was doing. I had those ceramic, the mod bowls, absolute garbage. I'm super glad I've moved past those. But my first bowl was actually the alien. I started much later than you, so what I have here is I believe this is the Gen 3 alien bowl. And I've kind of moved away from using it so much. I'll use it for Tangiers if I want to do a 1 round, but I've moved away from using it. You can't really, I don't get very good sessions out of blondies out of this at all.
Yeah.
But this and the Goodfella V3 are my first bowls, and right now my favorite bowl probably, since I do a lot of 1 rounders, is my Bambino bowl. I absolutely love this thing.
Which is what I'm using right now. Owen, do you have a Bambino bowl?
Yes, I do. I mostly prefer it for haze, though, if I'm being honest.
That'd be a good one for it. That doesn't surprise me. One of the other bowls that I jumped into after I had the alien bowl, because I wanted something a little bit different, was actually the 80 feet bowl. This is kind of an I don't know if it's newer or older. I don't know exactly what generation this one is. I know it's a little bit deeper than what I really liked it to be, but it does offer one thing that I really like about it is really strong flavor. I always noticed that whenever I packed this, be it Tangiers or anything else that I used, I always got really, really strong flavor with it. Sometimes a strong buzz with it as well. But I always really, really like the alien design, or the 80 feet bowl design. Obviously, my Bambino bowl has kind of taken over that spot for my 80 feet bowl. It is definitely something that I have nostalgia for. Did either one of you ever use the 80 feet bowl?
I do not own one, actually.
Ooh, it's a yes for me. I've actually got an 80 feet here. This is the, I'm not sure what generation this would be, but this is the last 80 feet they made before the 80 feet 80. So it's probably like the second or third generation of 80 feet bowls. It's actually pretty deep, but I actually have the same kind of thing going on as you, where it actually comes across, the flavor profile comes across pretty strong. I'm not sure what the reasoning for that might be. Maybe it's just the depth itself. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be. I have no clue. I just get pretty good sessions from the 80 feet bowl.
We are bro scientists here. We've already figured
bro
that out.
Science. By the way, Matt, just so you know, Jessica, she says your wife's going to notice anyway. Just so you know.
She very well might. Anyone that's watching, I noticed that Adrian, I think this is the most viewers we've ever had. So if you guys are watching, please feel free to comment and let us know what your thoughts of everything that we're talking about is. We're obviously talking about bowls right now. That's why I brought Owen on, because I think that he has a really good knowledge on the hookah industry and bowls and such. So we have him here to talk about bowls as well. So in the comments, please let us know, what are some of your favorite bowls that you like using? If you have certain bowls that you like for certain things, such as like what Owen said about the Bambino bowl being a good bowl for haze for him, let us know your preferences and thoughts as well. We'd love to hear it. Moving over to another bowl. This is the Goodfella V4 that I did the review for, obviously. I noticed, for me personally, I know your Goodfella, Adrian, is a little bit different than mine. Yours is a little deeper than what mine turned out to be. Yeah. But I really like to use this for whenever I do a fluff pack, or for when I do semi-dense. I don't like to do densing it because I feel like I'm not going to smoke the entire thing. It'd be a waste for me to do that for. But I like the amount of room that I have to use to actually smoke with it. I like that I'm able to really get a good, nice sprinkle in there for the fluff pack, and then I feel like it offers really good session for flavor. But the one thing I do critique it on is that it has such a gigantic spire. It offers like this really, really strong draw. It's hard to get really, really awesome, amazing clouds out of simple sessions you got to put almost a little bit more work in it. Does that make sense to either of you?
For me, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tangier's small. It's got Tangier's bowls. Most of them have these really tiny spires, and I do notice that you had to put a little bit of extra work into packing your bowl and smoking it to get those gigantic clouds that you can get from stuff like the Goodfellow bowls and stuff with the wider spires.
Do you have any of the Goodfellow bowls, Owen?
Sure, I don't have any Goodfellas.
Have you ever used a Goodfellow bowl
A giant
before?
pile of bowls here if you guys would have told me to.
I didn't even think about it till the very end. I apologize for that.
I wasn't sure if I should, so.
I grabbed all mine right before we started recording. Adrian was the only one that was actually prepared for this.
You're welcome, Matt. See, Matt's like the ringleader here, and he just leaves us out to dry sometimes.
I try not to. I really do.
He does it for fun. I'm pretty sure.
What bowl are you using right now, Owen?
I'm using the medium Apache.
Okay.
The one that I got for donating to Mike's GoFundMe.
Oh boy, that's awesome.
Remember that, yeah.
So the Apache. Now I understand that what is it like Liberty and Alpaca make Apaches? I'm not sure what the politics are in that, but is that the actual Alpaca?
This is the Liberty one.
Okay,
But yeah, they both make them.
That's a bummer because I was going to say we'd actually all be using Apache Alpaca bowls right now. Bambino is made by Alpaca, and so is the Goodfellow V4. So it was almost a really cool thing. It's still pretty cool though.
Still pretty cool. I have, and I forgot to grab it, but I have a Liberty OG Edgy, the one that they did. It's like an Egyptian style with a little bit of a raised center, so that it's kind of like a like a dome shape basically. And I forgot to grab that one, but it's actually one of my favorite bowls to use for anything that I'm going to do a fluff pack for once again, that I like to do for longer sessions because I seem to get a little bit more tobacco in it, and it holds a good amount of room, but you're still able to clear off the middle spire of it. So it's like this weird hybrid between an Egyptian and a funnel bowl all at the same time. Have either one of you used a bowl like that?
I have two of those, but they're pretty huge, honestly.
They do take a good amount of tobacco.
We're talking about the Vortex bowls right now, right? Sorry, I was reading.
That one's not a Vortex. I forgot to grab a Vortex, actually. Do you have one on hand?
I had one. I busted it because I didn't know what I was doing when I was cleaning out the holes in the spire.
I've done the same thing.
Yeah. I used a toothpick that was way too big. But this is a pretty interesting insight. Jessica says she uses her stone bowl normally, but she uses an 80 feet 80 to test her blondes and the alien to test darks. And then when she figures out the way she likes it, she'll just use the stone bowl when she's actually smoking her, when she's used to a tobacco. So that's a pretty interesting way to look at it.
That is. That's a good way to kind of use your entire rotation of bowls and then to finalize it into the one bowl that you actually enjoy using the most, which is, believe it or not, Jessica, something that I do as well. Owen, I don't know if you do this very often, but I'll use a lot of my different bowls for a lot of different sessions. When I'm ready to like sit down and smoke and relax with it, I'll bust out this bad boy right here. I know you know what this is.
Oh, fuck you.
This is the beautiful Mason bowl. I know you got one, Owen. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. It's so beautiful, obviously. What are your thoughts of the Mason bowl, Owen?
That's generally how I would test a dark leaf too, is use the Mason. Unique because it with a stone bowl you're using the heat that's retained in the bowl primarily. But Mason is kind of a fusion of the two, of the overhead heat too. So it kind of evens out a little bit. It doesn't take as long to warm up as a stone bowl.
Now
I gotta get a Mason bowl. I am not in the cool kids club right now.
Funny story about my stone bowl. Owen, I don't know if you remember, but I was in Vegas and they had this at this place called House of Smokes, and they were selling it for $60, which is about $15 over market cost basically. And I was so tempted to buy it, but I walked out of the store without it. And then I posted immediately on one of the hookah groups. And I was like, man, I don't know if I should get it. And Owen, immediately you're like, I don't know what you're doing, but if it was me, I would go buy it. And I turned around and instantly went back and bought it because of that.
Well, I mean, after shipping, you would have been paying almost as much anyway. So
yeah, it's and to get it in hand, like to buy it in a store was like the coolest experience to like actually be like, yes, I will take that bowl, and they handed it to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's so good. So super, super exciting. I love the Mason Bowl for a couple reasons. One, it doesn't take a lot of tobacco. Two, it's absolutely beautiful to look at, obviously. And then it's one of the things that you told me, Owen, that I really like about it is it's really user friendly. You know, you get good heat with it, but you get manageable heat with it. So you can almost mess up your pack with it and still be okay. Have you ever noticed that as well?
Oh yeah, I've had stuff that definitely would have taken a semi-dense, and I densed it too much, especially if I was drinking. And it doesn't seem to really get too angry at you when you screw it up.
It like almost seems to like it like says like, oh, I see you have too much heat here. I'm gonna disperse it along the entire bowl. Basically, it's very nice like that.
Oh, Matt,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're monitoring.
Also, that it doesn't seem to punish you for foil sag either.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm so fucking jealous. Just so you know, Matt, I don't know if you're monitoring comments, but our boy Sid, or SYD, I'm not sure how he wants to pronounce that. He is about to pack up some mango guava mint by Alfaka. Have you ever had that mix?
Mango guava mint. I've actually never had the mango from Alfaker. I love the guava from Alfaker. It's not like a good guava flavor, but it's a really good flavor on its own. I know you're watching. I was about to tell you, Adrian, to ask him, but I guess I can do it right here. How is the mango? Is it like a normal natural mango, or is it like a concentrate mango? I'd like to hear your thoughts on how the mango is. You've had the mango, Adrian. Why am I asking him? You could tell me about it a little bit.
Oh, I've actually had a review up on it.
Yeah.
The mango, I find it's a pretty good mixer because it will add that mango aftertaste to whatever you're mixing it with, but it's got this really awful chemical taste to it if you pack it by itself, and it takes heat a little bit weird. It'll overheat quicker than a lot of the other Alfaka flavors. I don't know what the science is behind that. That's just been what I've experienced in testing up to this point. It's a solid mixer, and I think it actually might go well in this mix with the guava, which actually is an outstanding Alfaka flavor. And like you said, the mint has taken a hit in quality, but it's still a solid mint, especially for the price point. Yeah.
What about you, Owen? Have you had the mango from Alfaker as well?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. He pretty much hit on all the points. It's pretty heat sensitive and chemically, but I actually never tried to mix it. I probably should have. I think I just tossed it.
That's the same way I feel about Alfaker kiwi. I really wanted to like the kiwi flavor from Alfaker. I really like the smell of it, and I thought it was going to be a good flavor, but it's really not a good smoke at all. I did mix it, and it worked. It worked itself out a little bit, but overall, sadly, the kiwi on its own, for me personally, was not an enjoyable flavor at all.
Yeah, I can get behind that. It's a good mixer. I actually like to put it in with the blueberry, a little bit of mint. It's pretty good. But yeah, the kiwi definitely does have that artificial kind of. It's almost too sweet as well. So.
Now, going back to some bowls, I don't have one on hand, and I've never actually had one, but you have the Stone Vortex bowl, don't you, Owen?
Yeah. It's a pretty good bowl. It cooks pretty evenly. It can be a little heat sensitive. I find that pretty much no matter what you pack it in, you want to pack it a little less dense than you normally would.
A little more below the rim, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, a little, maybe a semi-dense is kind of a max for a lot of stuff in that bowl.
How does it handle heat? How does it heat up?
It heats up pretty fast. I like to, if I'm using a Provost, I like to let the coals sit for a minute, let it even out before I put the lid on.
Now, did you've tried the original Vortex? I know, Adrian, you spoke about it. We joked about you breaking it because you have Hulk strength and everything. But Owen, did you grow up with a Vortex bowl as well? That was my first. I know I skipped over it because I don't have one in front of me. I have one downstairs. I really do have one. I just didn't grab it. But did you grow up with a Vortex bowl as well, like after you moved over from the Egyptian bowls and the mod bowls?
Yeah, I used probably for like at least a year. I used a Vortex, and with the Lotus, I got like 7 hours out of it, but it was probably a pretty terrible session by my current standards. Like, I'm sure the flavor was pretty much gone at that point.
I can remember using a Vortex bowl and like smoking on it forever, and just like thinking like, man, this thing is still going. But like looking back at it, like especially because it was all like hookah and stuff like that, like it was just like charred flavor, and like at that time I just wanted big clouds, so I was like, yeah, throw some more heat on it. Let's just get these clouds huge, man. But they're not
lot of
They're not.
70s bombshell in that thing.
Yes.
And
There you go.
some Nakla Ice Orange or something like that.
Hey, Nakla iced raspberry mint is bomb. That's a great raspberry mint is their iced flavor from Nakla. I like that. Text bowl was not a good bowl that I think we all convinced ourselves was a good bowl because it was the best thing that we had at the time. Like we're bringing up like the Aliens, 80 Feeds, the Mason Bowl, and these Goodfellas and stuff for a long time. Owen, I know you can attest to this at least. Like we didn't have these options when we started smoking. It was Mod Bowl or it was cheap funnel bowl because the Tangier's funnel bowls at the time were not easy to come by in the beginning.
Yeah, I've got a pretty substantial collection of Tangier's bowls, but I wish I would have had them earlier. Half of what I have, I've acquired secondhand in the past few years. I didn't have them back then.
Yes. Now, you know, we've talked quite a bit about bowls, but let's go into what our favorite bowl is. I know we may have multiple favorite bowls, which is obviously fine and stuff like that, but what is your guys' favorite bowl? Adrian, what bowl do you think you gravitate either most towards or the first one that you think of when you're getting ready to smoke?
Okay, cool. Matt, I'm going to go ahead and say that you're not allowed to say the Mason Bowl for your favorite bowl. That's not allowed. It's really difficult to say what my favorite bowl is because they all performed a little differently. So I guess I'll go, is it okay if I say what my favorite for dark leaf and my favorite for blonde leaf are?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Okay, I don't have it with me, and this is a bit controversial because a lot of people look down on HJ products. I'm not one of those people, but I can definitely see that point of perspective. He does make as many bad products as he makes good products, I find.
Much
but on
closer
the
to 50-50 for that one.
Much closer to 50. Like this Red Clay Harmony, I don't think this is a very good bowl. That's just my opinion. But the wide gauge Harmony is actually a solid bowl for blonde leaves if you want to smoke them for maybe 2 rounds. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. It's not as good as an Apache Medium, though. So the Apache Medium, which I don't have, I actually gave it away to my buddy back when I didn't know what I had, and that was a big mistake. But my Apache Medium is my favorite for blonde leaves. And if I'm going to go dark leaf, especially Tangiers where I want to do a dense pack, I'm actually a really big fan of this fudge bowl. I actually picked it up from Artin over on a – yeah, it's a solid bowl, and you get to conserve tobacco and still get a good long session out of it if you want to. I'm actually pretty pleased with this bowl.
Very nice, very nice. Owen, what about yourself? What's your favorite for blonde leaf, and what's your favorite for dark leaf? Or however you want to cut it.
If it's Alfacher, probably my favorite is Tangier's Small. But most of the time, I'm using stone bowls. I've got like 15 or 14 of them now, and he's starting to make smaller diameter ones. It's pretty nice. There's some that are more perfectly Provost sized. All-time favorite one is probably my Genesis. I really don't think that he's outdone himself from those original stone Genesis bowls.
I want to get one of those stone bowls. Now that I got the Mason, definitely something I want to investigate is getting one of those stone bowls because I mean, obviously, you hear nothing but good things about them. They're also very beautiful to look at, and if nothing else, there's something that I'd love to add to my collection. I mean, I'm definitely one of those guys that I'm a collector of a lot of different things. So like to be able to add one of those kinds of things to my collection is almost more important than having it smoke well. I know that probably sounds terrible, but like that's just my thought process in it, I guess. I just want to
tangent in the cabinet. I'm never going to use it, but I have it. So I mean, it holds like.
Do you have a super cheap?
100 grams. Yeah, I've got a super cheap. It's probably like a grams. It's not too bad. I use it, but it's kind of a pain to pack.
So speaking of the super chief, I have a similar bowl here. Do you have the Tangier's Iridescence bowl by any chance? And if so, what do you think about
Got
this bowl?
2 of them. It's pretty sensitive compared to regular old school Tangier's bowls. It's not really on level with those. I would say that I would choose an Apache over an Iridescence if people are looking at it. I really only rushed out and bought them when they came out because it's a Tangier's bowl. So I was like, well, I got to try it. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I wasn't crazy impressed.
Understandable. I always wanted a Super Chief just because I thought they were cool when I was younger, and I looked at them. I was like, oh man, this is like the blending of both worlds all into one and stuff. I do like that Jessica said that she'd say a Mason Bowl, but she's not a cool kid. That's what she said in the chat. I just opened up the chat a second ago, but I thought that was pretty hilarious.
And then this gentleman whose name I can't pronounce is D1S3NG4GE. I'm sure that means something. I haven't used that many bowls, but I got a mini Sky Bowl, and I pretty much don't expect to need any other bowl ever again. I've never tried a Sky Bowl, so I can't.
I haven't either, but I would say that if he likes metal bowls, only because I've never tried a Sky Bowl, but I do really like my Apple on Top bowl a lot. I should have grabbed that one. I don't know why I didn't think to grab it, because it is one of the different bowls, and it's a Vortex X style just because it has the cutouts in it, like the apple seeds, blah blah blah. But I do like that one a lot, and I know that Starkus did a comparison of all the different like metal bowls and stuff, and he was showing that each one was good for whatever reason and stuff, or not good. And the Sky Bowl got really, really hot, and the Apple on Top, like I was saying, if you like metal bowls, it may be a direction that you want to try. I really like the Apple on Top bowl. Do either one of you guys have the Apple on Top bowl?
I don't.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I've got an Apple on Top. I mean, I don't pull it out as often as I like. But if I want to sit down with some Alfacher for 3 hours, I'll pull it out and I'll just kick back.
I noticed that I'll use my Apple. I noticed that I'll use my Apple on Top bowl for longer sessions with friends. And the funny thing is, I use it the most when I pull out my tabletop hookah from Apple on Top. I use that with that at the same time because it's like a really easy to use bowl because it's so nicely and flush with it, and it's super convenient. It's really, really convenient. So if I'm gonna smoke with friends, I like to pull that out and I like to set that up because it's really convenient and easy to use. So that's something that I really like about it. Do either one of you guys have any silicone bowls? Apple on Top, not really silicone bowl. It just has silicone on the outside.
I had two Samsaris. They both pretty much fell apart. I don't know if I'd be willing to try one again. If Sarkis ever gets it together, supposedly one of his bowls is going to be silicone. So,
you never know. Maybe we'll see it in our lifetime. But I do have a full silicone bowl. It's a blue one, and I got it when I got my Plex smoke hookah that I have, and I used it when I first got it just to try it out and see exactly what it was. I was not a fan of it. It used way too much tobacco. It didn't seem to cook it very evenly. I don't know if I would ever try another silicone bowl. I think I just feel too old school. Like I feel like this is like almost becoming like old man stuff, right, Owen? Like we can't move on to the future. And I think Adrian, you're joining us too. Sadly, I'm grouping you into this. Yeah. But we're the kids in the future. They're gonna have like clear bowls made out of like iridium or something, and they're gonna be great. But we're just gonna be like, you guys need to use clay. Clay bowls are where it's at. Do you guys have any glass bowls?
That's a no for me.
Owen, do you have any glass bowls?
Crowns. I've got a classic and a micro.
I want a micro. Those are pretty nice, right?
The micro's pretty good for Tangiers. I never really got the classic to smoke all that well. It's the one with the holes on the outside and like the middle. And I don't know. It's pretty finicky, but that was what people used to swear by back in the day for Tangiers and foil.
Yep, I remember that. It was a really big craze to go with those glass bowls and stuff. And I have one glass bowl. It came with my Evolution glass hookah that I actually won off of the hookah.org. They had a contest, and I won their contest. You guys should go and check out my channel, Matt Dezen. And I have a music video called Hookah Hookah Shisha, and it's a parody of Ice Ice Baby. And
I'll have to look that up, man.
And I rap, and I won the contest because I'm awesome, obviously. And yeah, so I won a glass hookah. And that is I came with that terrible glass bowl. It takes probably like 50 grams of tobacco, and it's a horrible bowl. I would never ever use it in a million years. I don't know why I did use it the one time I did, and it was a terrible idea. Bad bowl.
What brand is that?
Evolution. Evolution was the brand. They're like a, I don't want to say knockoff because I don't know what they're knocking off, but they're not like a known glass hookah manufacturer or anything like that. I think they're just somebody that's in the field of glass hookahs, basically.
Probably branched off from glass smoking community, if you know what I'm saying.
Very, very possible. I know what you're saying. I love the crown look of their bowls. I like the crown mouthpieces and stuff like that too, obviously. Never have I got any of that stuff because it's always been a little bit too high in the price for me. Like Mason Bowl, it was good enough looking and attractive that I didn't mind spending the price if I had the opportunity to. The crown stuff, there's nothing about it that makes me want to go out and get it. I don't know if does that make sense, Adrian, since you don't have any. Do you kind of agree with that? They're pricey, but they don't look like they're functionally enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I actually really like those crown mouth tips. They look gorgeous, but I'm not about to drop the money on one. The only mouth tip I use right now is the B2 just because of raw functionality. It doesn't look that good, but it works.
Yeah.
And then glass bowls. I'm thinking about getting a Godfather bowl. I know Alex is releasing some new ones. I don't really know how it's going to perform. I just want to get one to try it. But I don't have any experience at all with glass bowls. So my opinion means very little in this topic.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go over my favorite bowls because I haven't spoke on that yet, and I'm not allowed to say the one that I want to say.
Correct. Yeah, put that down.
The one that I want to talk about.
Put it down.
Okay. So old school me would tell you right now that this bowl was the best bowl for Tangiers. And in my heart, it still is a very, very good bowl for Tangiers. I love this bowl for Tangiers. When it comes to it right now, this is probably my bowl of choice when it comes to blonde leaf tobaccos by far. I'll use this more than anything else for blonde leaf. And for dark leaf tobacco, for dense packing, I will use my Bambino bowl probably more than anything else. So I know I sound like a shrill right now for like 5-star or something. So I'm saying Goodfella and Bambino. But they're my two newest bowls because for the longest time, guys, these were my bowls. Like these were what I had. This is what I used everything for the longest time. So to get these two in my collection as well, it gave me the opportunity to use these bowls for what I think the best use is for. Like I said, the blonde leaf for this and then the dark leaf for the Bambino bowl. Those are my two overall preferences, I would say.
So are the Bambino and the Goodfellow your only alpaca products?
They are, but well, I don't know if you want to count that Liberty Edgy, OG Edgy as one as well. I don't know how that falls in the place of things.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the politics are on that, to be honest. I'm out of that loop.
I do like that OG Edgy bowl a lot, though. I think it works so well with. I used it a lot for haze a lot, and then also I forgot to mention that I have a square bowl. I have one of the square Liberty bowls as well. So I guess I do have one more alpaca product, maybe. So
I have this. What is this? The Apache Large, and for scale, this is the. This is going to be the Red Clay Harmony. This is, you guys were talking about bowls that you just keep on the shelf and look at. This is one of them. I can't reasonably get a session that makes any sense out of this thing, but it's pretty. I mean, look at it. It's that swamp color, but mostly it's garbage. Yeah. I think their heart was in the right place, but it's too big to really do anything with, in my opinion.
Okay.
Well, those bowls, I think they just make a bunch of them and then sort them out. They don't really. I don't think that they make them with the variances in mind afterwards. That's why you have the large, medium, and small.
Okay, that actually makes a crap load of sense.
My assumption.
Yeah. Okay,
that would make sense if that's the truth. If that is a possibility.
Awesome. I'm glad you said that because I was sitting here like, they make these intentionally, like in bulk. I mean, maybe some people can use them. I'm not cool enough to get use out of it, though.
You don't have like 12 hours to sit down and smoke, Adrian?
No, I haven't gotten that mythical 9-hour session yet.
You just got to get a Vortex bowl. That's all you got to do.
Yes,
and not care about flavor.
I've had a good 7 hours out of a Tangiers medium.
Wow.
Ball back in the day.
Damn.
Really? Stellar flavor and clouds throughout?
Yes, but this was a few years ago. I don't think Tangiers is really up to snuff for that nowadays, but that's just my opinion.
It's unfortunate.
We will have to have you back again, Owen, when we do a full-on topic of Tangiers, because I think me and you were both doing some Tangiers reviews at the same time, actually. So we were smoking a lot of the same stuff there for a while. And I think it'd be a fun conversation to kind of be able to talk about kind of old school Tangiers. Like one of the ones that we talked about a little bit, and I know this is a tangent, I apologize for getting off the notes, but Tropical Revenge was one of the flavors that we both got sent to review, and we both remembered what it was like when it first hit a long time ago and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see Tangiers in the different transitions that they've made as a company, and the differences that their flavors have also kind of took on as well.
Did you read that Reddit topic about Tangiers? Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of interesting revamps going on this year.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Wade shared that, and that's interesting because I haven't been smoking as long as you guys, but I've never heard in my entire time smoking of Eric saying anything. So it's kind of wild.
Very, very rarely. Very rarely. But I guess that's going to kind of close us out towards the end of our discussion about bowls, unless either one of you guys have anything else that you'd like to share about.
Well, you did. Did you want to talk about what you think makes like a good bowl in general?
That's a really good idea.
Yes, I'm glad I wrote stuff down and you were paying attention. Thank you for keeping us on the notes. Yeah, let's do a quick little roundtable of what we think makes a good bowl, because I think personal preference comes pretty heavily into play when it comes to what your opinions are about bowls, just like they do any other part of a hookah. So Adrian, what to you is a good bowl? What do you look for in a bowl?
For me, there's kind of three factors that go into a bowl when I'm judging how good the bowl is. The first is material. Obviously, it needs to be made out of solid material, so it smokes well and retains heat. That's probably the biggest factor for me. And then obviously you have to deal with size. That is the diameter of the bowl, or whatever the word, roundness. I'm not really good at words.
Diameter's good.
Yeah, that matters a lot because it's going to have a lot to do with the capacity, and so is the depth of the bowl. So my favorite bowl that I have here, this isn't my favorite bowl on the market, but probably the most well-rounded bowl for me for all different types of tobaccos. You can get dark leaves and blondes. It's just the Generation 3, the Goodfellow V3, because it's perfect. It's got a really nice diameter, super.
Wow, that is
gigantic spire.
Jeez, look at that spire. You can fit a whole thumb in there.
Literally, you can. This is a really good bowl for me, but it just comes down to like that perfect happy medium between size, diameter, depth, and the quality of material. I like a good medium-sized bowl. I don't want anything too large because I always feel like I'm wasting tobacco.
Understandable. What about you, Owen? What makes a good bowl for you?
Well, we're going to be getting a little into the bro science, I guess, of it, but
I love the fact that you said bro science. You just made my heart glow.
I personally believe that a bowl is better when it's a more narrow diameter and it's more focused on the depth than the width. About it, when a bowl goes sour, hard top layer, and the more narrow a bowl is, the less of that top layer that you're going to have. We find when we're talking about normal materials that do the best because it's a round, deep shape. When you talk about stone clay, it's just a higher quality clay, more of the heat inside the bowl rather than overhead out with the stone clay. But I still think that a round bowl shape is really ideal.
No, I only smoke triangle bowls. The only way.
Those Brazilian things.
Yeah, there are some out there, right? Like there's a few like random triangle and octagon bowls, like Starbuzz has that weird octagon bowl, don't they?
Can makes one too. The Can octagon.
Do you remember the one that was like a taco salad bowl and it had like the weird ridges?
What the hell? What the fuck? What are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
What?
You remember that?
Gosh. Yes, I do. That's so good.
I want that. What is that?
It's a taco salad bowl.
I'm going to say that unequivocally, the taco salad bowl is the best one.
Oh, if they missed an opportunity to name the greatest bowl of all time, they should have just called it the Taco Bell bowl or something.
That was definitely a
marketing error on their part. Do you remember?
I don't. It was some sort of weird play on octagon. I swear it was, but I can't remember off the top of my head. That's great. That's absolutely great. I can't even think straight of what makes a good bowl for me now. Okay, so what makes a good bowl for me? And I am going to bring up the Mason. Apologies to Adrian and to
Stop.
everybody in the chat. But I'm just going to bring it up in a general sense, not the actual bowl itself. Shallow. I look for shallow bowls. Not shallow so that there's absolutely no depth to it at all, but I do like it when it's shallow and even. Like this one is obviously CNC or engineered or whatever you want to call it. So it's very shallow and it's all the way shallow through.
Yeah, it's cast, right?
Yes, cast. There you go. Thank you. Where like the Alien funnel bowl, where it has a really good shallowness to it, it's not all the way through. It's at an angle, obviously. So that kind of, I like a shallow bowl. One thing I like about the Goodfellow is that it's a good shallow depth, and then it's all the way through. It does move downwards towards the spire just a little bit more than I'd like it to, but it's not bad. I wish I wasn't using my Bambino bowl so I could show you that one, because that is in fact perfectly shallow, and it's all even as well, which is really nice. Could you pull out your Bambino bowl, Adrian?
Absolutely.
Maybe highlight what I was saying.
I think I have to talk in order for this to stay on screen, but yeah, like Matt was saying, it actually looks quite a bit like as far as it's just a small version of the Goodfellow V3 bowl. It's got a really nice diameter. It's fairly shallow, but it does have a roundness to it. I wouldn't say it's round like a Tangiers bowl necessarily, but it's not flat either. So it's a pretty solid bowl, and the spire is recessed just enough to get a good draw.
And when I originally got the 80 feet bowl, like one of the reasons why I liked it was because it's not shallow anymore by any standard, but it was shallow kind of at one time in the sense that it's very flat on the bottom of it. This whole thing right here is one depth and dimension. It's not at an angle. It's not too rounded on the bottom or anything. It's very, very flat edge.
Yeah, it's a 90-degree angle. Yeah.
There you go, exactly. And that's one thing that I think makes a good bowl is the shallowness of it. Because I think if you can get a good proportion of tobacco, going back to bro science, if you can get a good proportion of tobacco all to be touched by your heat, then you're going to be pretty good. And that's something that I like about a shallow bowl personally. So
yeah, I think this really perfectly paints a good picture of how subjective things tend to be, because we all kind of said different things on what makes a good bowl. And personally, I had the least experience, obviously, but I don't think any of them are necessarily wrong. I think all the points are good points. I do want to point out before we get out of here, I don't know how much time we have, but definitely give some love to Egyptian bowls. I don't know how you guys feel about Egyptian bowls.
Yes.
If I smoke like Sanak or Al-Fakr, I definitely tend to kind of go towards my Egyptian bowl. A lot of people put them down. I think people just get weirded out that it's a $5 bowl, and maybe that's the thing. Like, oh, it's only $5. So if I'm not spending $25 on a bowl, it's not going to smoke well. I don't think that's the case. I think you should keep a couple good Egyptian bowls on hand.
Some of my best.
Have you?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you ever tried taking a pocket knife and widening the center hole and packing it like a funnel? Because that's actually how Moose tests every trifecta flavor. He only uses Egyptian bowls with this widened center hole.
That's very interesting. So I've never widened the center hole. Now I don't know if you can see them.
Yours are pretty wide.
Yeah, these are wide holes, but the center hole is not any bigger than the other holes. But I definitely do I make a funnel bowl out of it. I'll clear the center out and kind of do a pinky's width to get the center cleared out. So it does pack like a funnel bowl. I don't pack it like most of the old school guys pack their Egyptian bowls. But yeah, I do that where I pack it like a funnel.
Honestly, some of my best Tangiers sessions, I kid you not, have come from Egyptian bowls. If the flavor I've noticed, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, Owen, if the Tangiers flavor is kind of a lighter flavor in some ways, if I pack it in an Egyptian bowl and put the spire in the middle, I feel like I can get a really, really strong sense of that flavor more than I do out of a funnel bowl personally. And I think part of that reason why is because you're getting so much more airflow to go straight down instead of trying to go over and down. I don't know if that's bro science at its best right there, but I have noticed I've gotten really, really good sessions from Tangiers light flavors with an Egyptian bowl. Have you ever noticed anything like that?
I do like a donut pack and just clear the center if I use an Egyptian for Tangiers. But if Tangiers, if I want the best flavor, I will use my Super Chief. Super Chief is that center button, if that's what you want to call it. It's so low compared to an Apache that you have to basically build a wall with the tobacco. So it's just a real, but it's pretty good if you can get your hands on one.
And you're getting a lot more airflow with all those different shower head in the middle, obviously. So I wonder if there's something to that airflow effect, maybe. I don't know if there is or not.
Yeah, it makes things kind of condensed right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Owen, because that's what I'm doing it at. I'm gonna try to make this little center hole a little bit bigger and pack some trifecta. I've never heard of that. I'm glad I didn't know that's how Moose tested his flavors, so I appreciate that.
Well, you see, we learn something new every day here at the AM Hookah podcast. I think that's going to probably do it for us, unless there's somebody in the comments. I have it up actually as well, just so you know. And I'm not noticing anybody else talking at the moment. But if anybody in the comments quickly wants to say any final words about bowls or anything like that, feel free to. Love to hear your input or your thoughts about it. But for the most part, I think we're going to start heading towards the end of the show. Mainly, I guess, kind of where to find everybody. Or actually, I had a question for the show this week. My question for this week's show, and I thought this would be a good one with all of us here, holiday hookah gift ideas. I don't know if any of you guys have anything off the top of your head. I don't necessarily off the top of my head either. I'm just throwing it out there as a show topic for the next time me and Adrian convene on this show. If you do have an idea for a hookah gift that you think either you would like, somebody who smokes hookah would like what kind of hookah gifts do you guys like to get if you get hookah gifts?
I think bowls are probably the easiest gift because flavors are so subjective. You could always give somebody a bowl, but you could give them a flavor they're going to hate and throw in the trash. So,
Yeah, I'm in the same mindset. Bowls definitely. I'd like maybe hey, people out there, let's get that Mason bowl going. But honestly, another good thing is just coals. Like I'm one of the few people in the world who wants coal for Christmas.
Yeah, that's the damn truth when it comes to a hookah smoker, man.
Yeah.
We like that coal in our stocking for sure. Also, I'll throw this out as an idea for gift giving: is niche projects or niche products. Like the KM hammer tongs. You guys ever seen those? The really gigantic tongs with the little hammer on the end.
Oh fuck yeah, those things are cool as shit.
Yeah, those kind of things are really cool gift ideas because I probably would never buy them for myself necessarily because we all have a budget. When we get online and we go to buy our products, we have a budget that we're trying to either stay under budget. We usually go over, let's be honest, but we don't want to overdo our budget with something like a pair of tongs. Even though we'd love to have it, we don't want to overdo our budget on it. So it's a really cool idea to get as a gift because then you don't have to spend your own money for it. See what I'm saying?
I like that niche thing. Like I could never see myself spending like the $25-$30 that they want for some of those crown tips.
Yeah.
But if I received one, I'd be like, this is baller because I'd never buy this for myself.
Exactly. So that's what we'll talk about. We'll throw out the question on the different hookah groups and stuff like that. If you have a holiday gift idea for a hookah smoker, let us know what you think that would be. Holidays are right around the corner. It's time to get somebody a gift that you love, hate, dislike, or enjoy their company. I don't know why there was so much negativity in that statement. I don't know why, but there was.
Person, Matt.
I guess so. Okay. So as for sign-offs, my name is Matt. You can find me on YouTube over at Matt Desend, MattDesind. I do reviews. You can also find me on Twitter at only Matt Desend. I'm on Twitter and I talk about lots of stuff, wrestling, Nintendo, just stuff I do, that kind of stuff. Where can people find you, Adrian?
You can find me over at Pipe Dream Hookah, all one word, spelled like it sounds, on YouTube. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's _Pipe Dream, same as Twitter. But I'm more interested to find out where we can find you, Owen.
Yes, Owen, where can we find you?
On YouTube at Nemo Smokes 24 and on Instagram at Nemo Smokes. And I post all kinds of crazy pictures. They're not like but and then you get to see a few shots of this mug too. So
sweet.
And that beard. I'm trying. What do you think about mine? I'm trying to. I don't know if I'm going to let it go as long as yours, but I'm making efforts right now.
How old are you?
I'm 29 years old, Owen. Don't make fun of me.
You wait. How old did you say?
I'm 29.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, man. It might develop more later into your 30s.
maybe. I probably should.
My dad just started growing his beard, man. He's 55 years old, and he just got it to come in. It wouldn't come in before, and I kept encouraging and prodding him. Now he's got it going about fine now.
I get so itchy that I finally just cut it. Like that's my problem is I don't let it grow. But staring at your beard. I was about to say your guys' Adrian.
I don't
you
have.
a beard.
I was got a goatee. A really
He's
crappy
got a
one.
goatee, yeah. Looks nice, but I get itchy and stuff. So like I just line up cutting mine off, so I don't even worry about it. But it's time for both a haircut, maybe a trim job. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Staring at myself too much in this computer screen right now. So let's go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you guys for watching and enjoying and being a part of the show. Owen, thank you so much for joining us. This was absolutely awesome to have you on the show.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Oh, for sure. You made the show, man. We were just gonna sit here and talk about. We were gonna get off topic, and it was gonna be really bad. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Talk about what was it last time? Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, the last topic was Mario Odyssey. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Mario
is that
Odyssey.
really,
So don't.
is that a bad
I don't
thing?
have a Switch yet, so don't mind me.
Me either. I'm playing Breath of the Wild on my Wii U. I'm a peasant.
How sad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it so much. Adrian, thank you for joining me as my co-host. Obviously, this show is A and M, Hookah Podcast, and it wouldn't be anything without you as well. So until next time, guys, see you later.